Michael Knowles, who is this right-wing political commentary, said something on his show recently that I want to show you because it's representative of probably far too many people's views in this country, and that is shocking, stunning, and disturbing for sure. You'll see what I mean. And Michael Knowles is the individual who, at a conservative political action conference, if I'm not mistaken, called for the eradication of transgenderism. Just truly vile stuff comes out of this individual's mouth. And here's another example of it. Take a look.
Americans are as conservative today as they were back in 2012, which is fine, and it's a good start given how much more liberal the country had become since 2012. But if 2012 is the end point, then we might as well pack it in, guys. I do not want America to be as socially conservative as it was in 2012. I want our civilization to be as socially conservative as we were in 1220, okay? Forget it. I don't even want the 1950s. I don't even want the 1880s. I want 1220. I think that would be a good spot to land at. At the very least, I think we ought to be as conservative as we were before all the modern ideologies started corroding our civilization. Because that's been the big problem. The reason that a lot of people for a long time became more socially conservative, more open, more tolerant, is because they had the pillars of our civilization to rely upon. The church, the family, the productivity, the political order, the institutions, the system of law. We had all of that to rely upon. And so we were just leaning on that while we were indulging in an ideology that was eroding all of that. This is the thing about liberalism, including the old classical liberalism. It's just like an acid that you pour onto your civilization. And I don't know, maybe you like it. Maybe it's like lysergic acid, maybe it's like a drug or something. People kind of like this acid for a while, but it just starts to eat away at the thing upon which it must rest.
So there it is. He always kind of has this smirk on his face, so maybe someone would say, oh, he was kidding about 1220. He doesn't actually want to go back to 1220. Obviously, I don't have to tell you what that would mean for so many people, subjugating so many populations of people, taking away, turning back the clock on the fight for rights of so many populations of people. And he knows that, and that's why he's saying it. And it's interesting because he's talking about liberalism, not liberal like in our current American lingo, or are you conservative or liberal, but more broadly the principles of liberalism that, as he called, the modern ideology is built on. And it's always something that is said by many conservatives that is absolutely not accurate, that they would want to live in any society that isn't structured around liberal ideals, liberal principles, because the very liberty they benefit from, the individual rights, the human rights they benefit from, the democratic institutions they benefit from, are all products of liberal ideologies, or the liberal ideology that modern societies, at least in kind of the Western democracies, subscribe to. And he wouldn't want to live in places that's not the case. But setting that aside, what this is a reminder of is it's not that conservatives actually, not all conservatives, but the Michael Knowles conservatives, that they actually just think that right now we're going too far. We're okay with the general principles you say you want to live under, individual human rights, my goodness, right? Democratic institutions, liberty. But we just think you're taking it too far. You're expressing yourself too much, and now we're not okay with liberty, or whatever it might be. And that's not accurate. A lot of people do want to take us back. It's not just, oh, we were doing okay and now we're taking it too far. And just a few of these examples, it's once we stop you from moving forward, we want to take society backwards. And that's terrifying. But what I love is that he's fighting a losing battle. And we'll just take one example of this. There are so many, but one of them that has just changed the views on so rapidly and significantly over the last couple of decades is same-sex marriage. And this is emblematic of the larger fight that we're a part of, that I promise you, the regressive ideology will lose. The attempt to pull us back, it will lose. We have setbacks for sure, and they'll get little victories here and there. But this Michael Knowles attempt, and many people like him, their attempt to take us back, it's not going to ultimately be victorious. This is from Gallup. This is from 2021. Record high 70% in U.S. support same-sex marriage. And if you look, and actually I'll read this first, U.S. support for legal same-sex marriage continues to trend upward, now at 70%, a new high in Gallup's trend since 1996. This latest figure marks an increase of 10 percentage points since 2015, when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that all states must recognize same-sex marriages. And if you look at this visual on screen for our video viewers, but I'll describe it for our podcast listeners, same-sex marriage support for it before 1997 was all the way down at 27%. Now, 70%, maybe even higher, because this was 2021. And that's just one example of how the fight for people's rights and the attempt to move society forward, it's working and it's going to be successful. And there will always be these regressive movements trying to pull us back. But as I try to do on this show, give you guys hope. I do think it's reasonable, logical, and accurate to have hope that we will end up and continue being successful in all of these political fights.